So for today's lecture, we are going to start with Unit 2, that is your chapter number 4. And the chapter number 4 is Cloud Computing Architecture. Okay, so here you are going to look into what are the different architectures, or you can say models over which the cloud computing works. So it has 6 topics under it. So the first topic, that is 4.1, that is Introduction. What do you mean by cloud computing and what are the cloud characteristics? 4.2, Cloud Reference Model. 4.3, Cloud Delivery Models. 4.4, Cloud Deployment Models. 4.5, Economics of the Cloud. 4.6, Open Challenges. So here you're going to understand like what do you mean by cloud computing, what are the different types of clouds, what are the reference model, what are the delivery or deployment models. Economics of cloud simply refers to what are the important things what you need to consider while you are making a cloud, and last, what are the challenges with respect to it. So let's begin then. So first we are going to understand what is cloud computing. Okay, already we have understood this, but we are going to take it again because this entire chapter something is related to the cloud. So we are going to start what do you mean by cloud computing. Okay, so whenever we talk about word cloud, I have already told you that you have to refer it as internet. Okay, because all your data are going to be stored over the virtual space, that is over the cloud, and for accessing that you need an internet, and that is why mostly the cloud is called off as internet. Okay, so here most of the companies are now have already switched to, you can say, virtual servers. They are not going for a physical servers because managing of physical servers is very much difficult. If your servers are virtual, you can easily manage it, you can share them, you can host them at any point of time. So all of the companies have already switched to physical sorry virtual servers, and they have almost stopped working with physical servers. Okay, so mostly these virtual servers are called as cloud servers because all the data is stored over the cloud, that is the virtual space. Okay, and mostly the data centers the big companies usually have, they have the cloud servers. Over there they manage all the data. So mostly the cloud is something is a common word in tech industry because this is always referred, and everybody is going for a cloud storage nowadays. Nobody is going for a physical storage because the problem is that if you go for a physical storage, definitely some or the other day that storage is going to end up. So we want some storage which is not going to end up, which is going to be vast, which is going to be enormous. So we usually want that type of storage capability, or you can say characteristic. So we usually go for cloud storage where you're going to store your data over the cloud. That is your virtual storage. So mostly in initial days we used to call directly the word internet, but now we are not calling it as internet, but we are calling it as a cloud storage. That is nothing but an internet. Okay, so here you have your different servers, you have your different networking protocols which are running together and which you are making up the internet, and which is nothing but a cloud. Okay, so cloud is something which is accepted by everyone as of now, and they everybody is using that as a computing. Most of the time it is used as a service. As we know, there are different cloud delivery models which act as a services to the cloud consumers. So that is your type of a cloud computing. Okay, so basically cloud computing is a utility oriented where you're going to provide utility services, you're going to provide some applications, value added services. Okay, and everything is going to be delivered using your internet as a platform. So whatever you're going to deliver, you're going to use internet, and all the services which you're going to provide is always going to be on demand. Whatever the user is going to ask, you're going to keep that ready for them, and then you're going to give them and they can use it. So that is all about your cloud computing. Cloud here refers to using the internet, using the virtual space, you're storing everything over the cloud. And computing refers to, depending on the customer's requirement or consumer's demand, you're going to compute, or you're going to add services, you're going to add applications. That is usually called as computing here. Okay, so depending on different services the consumer opt for, like we know there are cloud delivery models, that is your as PaaS and SaaS. Okay, so according to the requirement of the consumer, you're going to provide them services. That can be your development platforms, that can be your software applications, that can be your entire infrastructure with virtual machines. That is usually called as your computing stack that you give you to the customers. So that is your cloud computing. So cloud, always remember, it is nothing but the servers which are stored over the cloud, over the virtual space, and this everything is going to be managed with the help of internet. So in other words, the cloud is nothing but the internet. So the next we have is, what are the cloud characteristics? Okay, what are the I have given the description and the application for the same. Okay, so the very first characteristic of cloud is on demand self service. Okay, so this is one of the most important characteristics, you can say, which simply refers that whenever if I talk about cloud service, it is usually a self service. Like at any point of time, if I want this service, I can just ask for it, I can demand for it with the choices of my, that I want this as an application, I want this as a platform, I want this as an infrastructure. So the choice will be yours. Okay. So whenever me as a cloud consumer want any provisioning capabilities, or I want anything at runtime, okay, then I can just ask for it and I can get it. Okay. So on demand self service simply refers that whatever you're going to demand, you're going to get it, and you are the one who is going to be the self service there, because you're going to make the choices there, that what you want, and then whatever you have asked for, that will be available for you on demand. So application here is server, your time, your network, and storage. These are the applications which you can be accessing them in on demand and on services. Next, we have second characteristic, that is broad network access. Okay, so that is again a important. Again, you can say, because here you can connect with different platforms. You can provide heterogeneous services. So here the network access is going to be always heterogeneous in nature, where there can be different clients connected at a single point of time, asking for different services, or that can be made same services, that depends on what are your different clients on. Okay, so the applications through which you can do access them is with the help of the smartphones, with the help of the tablets, with the help of the personal computers, and the wide range of locations which are tied up with them. Third characteristics of cloud is resource pooling. Resource pooling simply refers that you are going to collect, or you are going to serve the resources from different you can say platforms, or from different models. So resource pooling is nothing but a big pool kind of thing. Okay, where all the resources are placed. So according to the provider's requirement, that resources will be checked into that pool, and it is going to be taken from that pool, and it will be being served to the consumers or the customers. Okay, so basically the cloud provider is going to provide computing resources as per the requirements given by the consumer. Okay, and this is something which will help them to serve them in a better way. So the applications here is physical and virtual resources. So as we all know that when we talk about resource pooling, we have already seen before that for making virtual resources, first you want physical resources present, because physical resources act as a reference for creating the virtual resources. So you need a physical resources first. You're going to do the replication of that physical resources into the form of virtual resources, and then you're going to provide the service. Provisioning is nothing but providing the services, providing the demands as per the customer asks for. Last characteristics, that is rapid elasticity. So rapid elasticity simply means that it is very easy to scale in case of cloud computing. Okay, you can easily add something, you can easily remove something as per the requirement. It is something which works independently. So if you add something, if you remove something, it is not going to affect current infrastructure or current platforms or current application. Everything is working so much independently that any point of time you can add elasticity, you can add any software application or platform, or you can remove as well as per the requirement. Okay, so application here is adding or removing nodes, servers, resources, or instances. So these are the four cloud characteristics which are, like, mostly referred as, and this is mostly seen into a cloud computing environment. So these are the four. On demand self service, cloud services are given to you on demand. It is your self service you are going to ask for, and you are going to get it. So that is usually called as self service, because you yourself are deciding that what you want. That is why it is called as self service here. Okay, next we have is broad network access. So here in cloud computing, you can have your different network accesses, you can have your different client platforms, you will have your heterogeneous network. So that is your broad network access. Next, you have your resource pooling. Resource pooling is nothing but a place where there will be pool of resources. The cloud provider will always have an access to this resource pooling, where he is going to uh, collect the resource requirements which the customer has asked for, and it is going to provide the services with the help of multi-tenant model. Multi-tenant model is nothing but providing multiple resources at a single point of time to multiple consumers. Rapid elasticity simply refers that you can easily add or you can easily scale at any point of time. That is called as rapid elasticity. So we are moving to the next topic, that is cloud reference model. Okay, so cloud reference model simply refers to whenever you want to give a cloud services, you first need a reference model which will help you to understand that at what level you have to do what. Okay, so basically, if we talk about cloud reference model, it is your as, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, so always remember that. Okay, so when we talk about cloud reference model, it has some hierarchies which you can see over your screen. Okay, you have your user applications, you have your user level middleware, you have your cold middleware, and you have your system infrastructure. So these are the hierarchies which are there and through which you can do the communication and that act as a reference model. Okay, so at user applications, you have all your cloud application models like whatever the user wants. That can be their social computing platforms, that can be your enterprises, that can be your CRM application. So everything which are the applications which are required by the user come under your user application. That is nothing but SaaS. You can see that. That is software as a service. Okay. Next we have is user level middleware. So here you're going to have all your cloud programming environments, your tools. So there can be your libraries, your distributed programming, your web applications, everything is you're going to come here. So that is nothing but your PaaS, that is platform as a service. So that is at your user level middleware. Okay. Next, you have your cloud hosting platforms where you're going to host the platforms. Okay, you will have your different SLA, you're going to have your metering, you're going to have an accounting. Along with that, you have your system infrastructure, that will be your cloud resources, that can be your physical servers, that can be your databases, that can be your devices which are going to be there. So this is something is your as, that is infrastructure as a service. So your core middleware along with the system infrastructure together is your as. Okay, so the very first layer user application is SaaS, software as a service. Then you have your user level middleware, that is your PaaS, that is your platform as a service. And then you have your cloud hosting platform, that is your app, that is infrastructure as a service. So this is your cloud reference model through which the communication is going to take place across your different consumers or your cloud between your cloud provider and the cloud consumer. So these are the reference model which are used, and every reference model has its own significance. It has its own level of you can say working, which will host only those applications, those platforms, or those infrastructure only into it. Okay, so that is your cloud reference model. So we are going to go much in detail in each of it. So now we are moving to the cloud delivery models in much in detail. So it is called as cloud delivery model as well as service model, which we have already studied before. We are going to take a quick recap of the same. So there are three type of cloud delivery model. Why it is called as cloud delivery? Because you're going to provide cloud services to your consumers, to your customers with the help of these three models. That is why it is called as cloud delivery model. So the very first is your SaaS, that is software as a service. So here you're going to provide distribution of softwares, that can be your third party software, that can be your in-house software. So all the software applications, if you're providing the host applications, you're providing, making it available to your customers or consumers over the internet, that is called as your software as a service. So here you're going to provide all the softwares which is required by your consumers. That can be the third party softwares as well. Examples is Salesforce, NetSuite, and Concur. Okay. Next, we have the second delivery model, that is platform as a service. So whenever you're providing entire platform as a service, that can be your Linux platform, can be Windows platform, can be Mac platform, depending on the requirement of the consumer, that on what platforms they want to build their applications, want to develop their applications, want to make their own infrastructure, or then you're going to use platform as a service. Okay, so examples is AWS, Elastic Beanstalk, Google App Engine, and Heroku. Next, we have is third, that is infrastructure as a service. So whenever you're going to provide an entire infrastructure. So infrastructure will consist of SaaS plus PaaS. Okay, remember that. In infrastructure, you're giving everything. You're giving a platform, you're giving a software, you're providing each and everything. You're providing your servers, you're providing storage, you're providing different virtualized compute resources, and you're making that available to the customers over the internet. That is called as app. That is infrastructure as a service. The example we have here is AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Computing. So these are the three delivery models which are mostly used in cloud computing. Depending upon the customer requirements, you're going to provide that particular delivery or service model to them. Okay. So next we are moving to the topic, that is what are the types of cloud or deployment models. So if you get the question types of cloud or deployment models, they're one and the same, so don't confuse yourself. So basically, if we talk about the cloud, there are three types of the cloud. There are public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So these are the three types of cloud which are used in your cloud computing, or whenever you want to provide any cloud services with the help of the cloud. These are the three clouds which are used. Mostly we use for go for a public cloud, because this is the cloud which is used by everyone, and mostly most of the companies go for the public cloud in case if they don't want security at the higher level. If you want security at the higher level, then they usually go for a private cloud where they have to manage each and everything over the cloud, and that expenditure or expense is something which they need to take care on their end. So that is your private cloud. Next, we have private and public, that is combined. Mostly this is not used, or this is not being referred as, but in case if you want to have best of both worlds, in other words, then you can go for this type of the cloud, that is your hybrid cloud. So in public cloud, there are some key points or advantages. We are going to look into each of them. First is high scalability, low complexity, and pay as you go. So here in public cloud, everything you're going to get is ready made. Okay, all your applications, everything is going to be less expenditures there, and here you're going to provide the service that is pay per use. So whatever you're paying or using, you're going to pay for that only. The scalability is definitely going to be higher, because in public cloud you can easily add, you can easily make the changes which is possible there. Next we have is private cloud. So if I talk about private cloud, it is something which is being designed, or which is being, you can say, uh, actually come into an existence when a private company wants to have their own cloud. They wants to have host their own services, and they don't want to use a public platform. They want their own private platform. They can go for a private cloud. Okay, so this is going to be very much secure in terms of security as compared to public cloud, because here the access will be only to the few people, those who are going to take care of the cloud, or those who are going to manage the services or applications or platforms over the cloud. So the performance is definitely going to be high, because there are not much users here. Reliability is also going to be higher, because the data which is there is going to be more confidential. It is going to be less prone to attacks. It will be more, secured in the way. That is why it is called as high reliability. Regular compliance, it is going to meet some standards. Private cloud will definitely meet some standards. Public cloud will not meet some standards, because in public there are many people who are going to have an access to that cloud at single point of time. So you cannot maintain some regulations or norms, you can say, over the public cloud. But over the private cloud, it is very much possible, and you can do it. So that is your regulatory compliance, that is following some standards, some protocols, and with that you can manage it. Because here you have limited set of people who are going to work with this cloud. So the standard can be easily maintained there. In public cloud, there can be, you cannot count the number of people who are going to have an access to it. So you to maintain the standard there is a big question. Okay, public and private cloud, that is combination of both. So we are going to combine the advantages of both, and it can be present here. So it's high scalability, it is very secure, improved cost, high reliability, lot of flexibility will come in your public cloud. Okay, in private cloud, it's not like that much flexibility. And then we have your high performance. Okay. So the fourth type of cloud which we are going to look into here is community cloud. Okay, we have already know seen public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. This is the fourth, which is community cloud. So basically, community cloud is something where you're going to share this particular cloud across different organization, or you can say community people who have the same taste, who have the same likings, or you can say who have the same requirements as well. In other words, okay. So basically, community cloud simply refers to the community people who will have the same requirements. They have same infrastructure requirement, application services requirement. They are working on the same development platform. So if they want to work together, then they can be the part of it. That is your community cloud. Okay. So basically, these are the clouds which are you going to have main concerns that it has to be managed internally, or they are going to be managed by third party, or they are going to be hosted internally or externally. So important here is to know that community cloud simply refers to where the infrastructure is going to be shared across different organizations, where the requirements are going to be same. When they have same requirements, when they are working on same platform, deployment model is same, everything is same, then they're going to go with this type of mechanism or this type of cloud, that is your computing cloud. So National Institute of Standards have defined this community cloud as the infrastructure is shared by several organizations, and it supports a specific community that has shared concerns that can be in terms of security requirements, policy and compliance consideration, that can be managed by organization, or they can use third party, or may exist on a premises or off premises. That is your community cloud. So whenever you want to share your infrastructure across different organizations, they have their specific concerns. They have their same concerns with respect to some characteristics that can be security, compliance. Then that they can decide themselves that whether this cloud has to be managed by some third party applications, or they can be stored over the premises or on the premises. So that is your community cloud. So community clouds are nothing but the people, like private users, that can be public users, that can be industry users. So community can be anybody who have the same taste, same likings, and they have formed one community and they are sharing something together. That is called as community cloud, basically. So the next topic is economics of the cloud, which we're going to look into the next lecture. Okay, so that's it for the day. Thank you, everyone.